All Cars, the copyrighted program created for the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars, broadcast 94. Cars in the vicinity to take notice. Go to the corner of Figaro and Adams at once regarding a bank robbery. That's all. Rose and Cliff.
Every boy and every girl listening to Calling All Cars is entitled to a free gift. In fact, you can get several free gifts. Just listen to the announcement at the close of this program. Rio Grande delivers more value than any other gasoline. Besides the free gifts for girls and boys, Rio Grande gives every motorist more value than ever before for his gasoline money. In the first place, you get tetraethyl added to Rio Grande cracked gasoline at no increase in price. You get more speed, more power. It is easy for any gasoline to claim these superiorities, but Rio Grande offers proof that it is the fastest, most powerful gasoline in this market. What greater proof can you ask than the selection of Rio Grande cracked in preference over all other gasolines to power the police cars, fire engines, ambulances, and other emergency equipment of cities like Los Angeles, Oakland, Berkeley, Bakersfield, San Diego County, and Maricopa County, Arizona, and many, many others. Of all the emergency cars operated in this territory, more use Rio Grande crack than any other brand. Doesn't that prove you will get greater value for your gasoline money when you ask for Rio Grande cracked gasoline? And now it is our pleasure to present Captain H.S. Seeger, commanding the Robbery and Narcotics Squad of the Los Angeles Police Department. Captain Seeger.
Good evening, friends. There seems to be no lengths to which criminals will not go in carefully planning a crime which they believe will put them on easy street for the rest of their lives. Physical and mental energy is expended in lawless enterprises which, if directed in proper and honest channels, might well return the authors of the plans a much greater compensation than they receive for their criminal activity. For these men always slip up. They forget something. They omit an important detail, and then the law is on their trail. None of them get rich quick. None of them retire to a life of ease. Do you remember Herb Wilson? He worked months planning the robbery of a safe in Detroit in which it was reported there reposed $13 million. The plans went through with military precision, but the acetylene gave out in his torch. There was only a quarter inch of steel left between him and his fortune. He was a smart man, but he slipped up once, and then again, and finally landed in the penitentiary. His case is similar to the one you are about to hear, in which three young men worked with an intensity they never would have felt in an honest occupation, toiled like slaves in a dark, dank hole underground, burrowing toward a fortune, which they never got.
It is a dismal, rainy night in February 1932. In a small, badly furnished apartment, three men sit talking.
I wish this rain had let up. I'm getting sick and tired of sitting around doing nothing.
You and me both, Jim. If I don't raise some dough pretty soon, there's going to be no happy home for me. I'm so flat I can't even buy a package of cigarettes.
Here, Bill, have one of mine.
Oh, thanks.
Light?
Yeah, I haven't even a match. Yeah. Boy, am I fed up on this bumming cigarettes, meals, and everything else. I don't know how you stand it so well, Mac. I'd go nuts passing out cigarettes to people like me.
What would you boys say if I told you of a way to make some dough? Plenty of dough.
Huh?
Say that again.
I got an idea that means plenty of dough to all of us if you boys want to go into it with me. It means a lot of hard work, but it's worth it.
Say, listen, I can't think of anything at this point that I wouldn't do for some real cash. What's the dope?
Remember a year or so ago, a couple of guys tunneled into a bank and grabbed $15,000 in cool, hard cash?
Yeah, I remember. They got caught and sent up.
Right, but they made mistakes. Mistakes we can profit by.
You mean that you want to rob a bank?
That's exactly what I do mean. And I've got it all figured out so there's not a chance in the world for a slip-up if we take our time and make plans carefully.
I don't know about that, Mac. I can send you up for a long, long time for a little thing like bank robbery. I don't know, but what I'd rather bum cigarettes than take such a long chance.
Well, of course, if you boys don't want to get in on the gravy, it's all right with me. Only I'm sorry to see a couple of guys that need dough turning down a gold mine because they don't have to take a chance.
Well, we need dough, all right, but, boy, I still think it's a big risk. Makes us so sure it'd be safe.
Are you interested enough to listen to my idea?
Sure, why not? If we don't like it, we don't have to go, Jim. Might be a good thing at that.
Well, it's okay with me to hear what you've got, Mac. But I'm not at all sure I'm going to like the idea.
Knowing you two boys as well as I do, I've got a hunch you'll like it plenty. Anyway, here's the dope. There's a branch bank at Figaro and Adams, and right down the middle of the street there's a sewer pipe with not more than a foot of water in it. Now, if we were to get in there and dig a tunnel underneath the sidewalk...
Well, so far, so good. Nobody's seen us, and we've gotten the first part of the tunnel started.
Sure, I told you it was a setup. Now, all we've got to do is to be careful getting in and out of the manhole so nobody will get wise we're not working for the city. In a little while, we'll be in clover.
Well, I'll be a lot happier when we get it done and get out of this place. This darkness gets on my nerves. I feel as though there were all kinds of things looking at me from that sewer pipe back there. Gives me the creeps.
Well, you must have been reading about the sewers of Paris in the Sunday supplement, Bill.
Yeah, this ain't like them, Bill. It's a nice, clean, 100% American sewer.
Yeah? Well, I still don't like it. Reminds me of a graveyard. Only it's worse because it's underground.
There's only one thing that's got me worried. My wife. She's getting kind of funny about my telling her I'm looking for a job every night. Told me today that it seemed a queer kind of time to look for a job.
Yeah? What'd you say to that?
Oh, I told her that I had something lined up with the city, and at night was the only time you could see the guy that does the hiring and firing. I don't think she's really suspicious about me, only sometimes I gotta watch myself. Liable to let something slip and mess up the whole work.
Yeah. It's things like that you gotta watch. Blabbing dames have sent more guys to the camp.
Don't call my wife a blabbing dame,
all right, you guys. There's no place to get into a battle. When we get out of here and the job's done, then I don't care what you do.
Yeah, you're right, Mac. I'm sorry I got sore, Bill. I guess it's just nerves.
3 days in this tomb's enough to drive anyone bats. How long do you figure it'll take us to get there, Mac?
Well, it shouldn't be long. We've gotten along swell so far. If we don't strike any tougher going than this, it'll be only a matter of a week or so.
Well, I hope it's not any longer. 7 more days in this rat hole, and I'm liable to go completely nuts.
Snap out of it and get to work, will you, Bill?
Okay.
Well, it won't be long now.
Yeah, it won't be long now. That's what you've been saying every day for the last 3 weeks. If I'd known it was going to take this long to dig a lousy tunnel, I'd never have gone into this deal.
Steady, Bill. It isn't going to do any good to beef about it now. Anyways, Mac's right. According to our plans, we're within 10 feet of the bottom of the vault right now. And in that vault, there's a fortune for all of us. Boy, I can just see that dough lying there. The most beautiful thing I can think of. Nice, crisp, cool green bills. Just waiting to be spent.
Okay, Jim, cut out the poetry and let's get to work. We ought to get to within cutting distance of that vault any minute now. If we do, we'll strike pay dirt before morning.
A few hours later, William Waters, night watchman for the bank, is making his rounds when he sees a light burning in the office of a finance company next door. In the circle of light thrown from a small desk lamp, he makes out the face of Glenn Brace, manager of the finance company and close friend of his. Deciding to have a late smoke with him, Waters enters the office.
Good evening, Glenn. Working kind of late, aren't you?
Oh, hello, Bill. Yes, I've got a few things that have to be finished, so I'm burning a little midnight oil.
Well, if it won't bother you, I'll sit down and have a smoke.
Sure, sit down. I'm glad to have your company. Well, it gets pretty dull working nights here. Have a cigarette?
Oh, thanks. I'll stick to my pipe. I don't like cigarettes anymore. I can't smoke them.
I wish I couldn't. I smoke too many. Hey, listen. There's that noise again. You hear it?
Yeah.
Sounds like a dripping faucet somewhere. I heard it when I came in, so I checked the faucets in the washroom here. But they were okay. And it stopped, and I didn't hear it again till just now.
Hey, listen a minute. Can't seem to tell where it's coming from, can you? First it's one side, then the other. Then all over the place.
Maybe they're working on the sewer. Well, anyway, it's not in this room.
It stopped.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I've got other things to do.
I think I'll take a look around outside, Glenn. That darn noise has got my goat. I'll be back later if you're still working.
All right, Bill. Stop in if there's a light.
Good night. probably an overcautious old fool, but it don't sound like no dripping faucet to my ears. Huh? Everything all right in here. By golly, that's coming from down under this bank. And it sounds like a cold chisel on hard steel.
Realizing that every minute counts, Waters leaves the bank, rushes to the nearby call box, and contacts headquarters. Explaining the situation, he asks for all available police and detectives, then returns to the bank and waits, not knowing what to expect and hoping against hope that the reinforcements will arrive in time. And in the man-made tunnel under the bank...
Yeah, this thing's making an awful noise, Mac. Isn't there something we can do to muffle it?
Who's going to hear it? You couldn't hear anything 5 feet away with all this dirt around us.
I hope not.
How's it going, Jim?
Yeah, not far to go now, Mac. About half an inch and we'll be through the wall. You got the soup ready so we won't waste any time when we get in?
Yeah, right here. Once we get in the vault, it won't take us an hour to clean everything up and take it on the lam. Yeah, and that won't break my heart.
Mine either. I feel like we've been in this hole for 3 years instead of 3 weeks.
Mac,
What's up?
where's that cold air coming from?
Yeah. There's a breeze coming down the tunnel.
Hey, wait a minute. Somebody's lifted a manhole somewhere. Quiet while I go back and see what's up.
It's the cops. We're trapped like a bunch of rats.
Shut up, you fool. If it is the bulls, they might not find us in here unless you shout about it all over the place.
I knew something like this would happen. I should have played my hunch. I should have kept out of this.
Well, you're in it, so quit beefing. Quiet. Here comes Mac back along the tunnel.
Come on, leave that stuff and get out of here. The law, all right, but they haven't found the hole in the pipe yet. We can get out and beat it down the sewer to some other opening. We can get away before they find this tunnel.
Come on, Bill, let's go.
Here's the pipe. Quiet while I stick my head out and see if the coast's clear. If it is, I'll go first, and you two follow right on my heels.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Now follow me and don't make any noise. Hey, there they are. Come on, we'll go this way and try the next manhole we come to. Yeah.
Hey, take it slow, will you? I can't keep up with you.
Well, that's tough. We're leaving.
I've spotted us. We can't stop now to try one of those manholes. We've got to keep going.
Where do you suppose this tunnel leads?
I don't know, but it's a cinch. If we keep going, we'll come out somewhere.
Hammering madly down the slime-covered pipe, falling over one another in their mad haste to gain some exit, the 3 men managed to stay just out of range of the guns of the pursuing police. Mile after mile, the weird chase continues. At last, after 4 miles, the tired officers find themselves at the mouth of the pipe. Footmarks on the mud embankment reveal that the robbers have made good their escape. Discouraged, Detective M.H. Ledbetter, with his partner, Detective Lieutenant H.A. Spencer, returned to the man-made tunnel leading to the vault in a vain hope of picking up some clue to the identity of the suspects.
I don't suppose there's much chance of us finding anything of value, but we might as well take a look around.
Yeah, there's always the chance of a fingerprint or two. And judging from those birds' hurry, they didn't stop to take any of their tools along with them.
Well, here's the opening into the tunnel. I'll go ahead with a flash, and you follow me.
Yeah. Say, you gotta be a groundhog to get through here.
Well, we're almost there. I can see the end. Here we are. You're right about the tools. There's some candles and a flashlight, hammer and chisel.
Hey.
What?
There's a man's suit coat.
By golly, you're right. We ought to be able to get some identification marks out of this.
Yeah, we ought to be able to, but we can't.
Why not?
Because these guys are no dumb crooks. They've torn the maker's name and every bit of identification out of the lining.
Now, isn't that just dandy? We might as well take this junk into headquarters and see if we can raise any prints.
And if we can't,
Well, we're going to have one swell time trying to find out who these birds are.
On their way out of the tube, the 2 detectives discovered a paper sack with bread crusts in it, some discarded flashlight batteries, and a torn sleeve from a man's coat. Adding these to their scanty collection of clues, they returned to headquarters to begin the tedious task of learning the identity of the suspects. At police headquarters, a laundry mark comes to light in the lining of the coat sleeve. A telegram to the makers of the batteries reveals that the discarded batteries had been delivered to a drugstore less than a mile from the scene of the attempted burglary. The wrapper taken from the paper sack bears the name of a bakery that is found to be 1 block away from the drugstore. Armed with these facts, Ledbetter and Spencer scour the neighborhood, inquiring at all cleaning establishments to trace the laundry mark. In a little shop on Estrella Avenue, a branch cleaner recognizes the mark as belonging to one Tim Matson, who lives nearby. Acting on this information, the 2 detectives arrive at Matson's apartment, only to find that he had moved out a month before and left no forwarding address. And in a small apartment less than 2 blocks away.
They got wise to us. We're not in the can, are we? Listen, boys, those flat feet are spending so much time running around in a circle, they'd never think of looking for us here.
Yeah, it was pretty smart of you, Mac, thinking of sticking in this apartment so close to the bank. The cops are probably everywhere but near here.
Well, I didn't think so much of the idea, but I'll have to admit, Mac, it seems to be working. 3 days since we got out of that lousy tunnel, and the papers have already forgotten the thing. Yeah, and within 3 weeks, we'll have another bank lined up. Another bank? Sure, you don't think that just because we muffed this job, we're going to quit, do you? It only takes one good haul, and we're set for life.
You know, Mac, there's one thing bothering me. How in the devil did the bulls get wise to us? If we could figure that out, we'd be better off the next time.
It was just pure luck, Jim. I tell you, there wasn't a chance in a million of their finding us. Just one of those things, luck. Yeah, I wish we had a little of that.
Yeah, we wouldn't be laying around this apartment waiting.
Hey, listen, if you guys will just have a little patience, we'll be sitting pretty. I spotted a bank over on Jefferson last night that looks like the works to me. There's a manhole right in front of it, and the vault's only about 12 feet away from the opening. And all we got to do is to sit tight until this mess blows over, then get a closer look at the setup out there and go to work. It's a cinch.
Well, say, Jim, what time's Mabel due here? We don't want to be sitting around when she arrives.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what time is it now?
2:30.
Oh, she ought to get home by 3. I guess we better get out. Where'll we meet you tonight, Mac?
Your wife going to stay here?
No, she's going out somewhere for dinner. I told her I was going over to the city office again.
All right. Well, let's all get together here at about 6.
Okay by me.
Yeah, me too.
And I'll see you boys here at 6 tonight.
Right. So long.
Meanwhile, detectives Ledbetter and Spencer, canvassing the neighborhood for any scraps of information, run into good luck.
There's another apartment house, Herb. Let's ask the landlady.
Yeah. You know, I'm beginning to get tired of the sight of apartments. This makes the 15th we've been in today.
We've gotten the same answer at all of them. Never heard of any Matson.
Well, here goes nothing.
You push the buzzer this time, Herb. Maybe it'll bring some luck.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're looking for a man by the name of Matson. Tim Matson. Do you any tenant here by that name?
Matson? No, I don't, but I'll tell you...
Is there anybody staying here that has a similar name?
Well, let me think.
Now, he might have moved in about a month ago.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a Mr. Jim Watson lives here, and if I remember rightly, he moved in just about that time.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the day that my son got his job over at the bakery. You know,
Sounds like our man.
Right. I wonder if you could tell us a little about this man. Do you know if he works?
Why, yes, I think he does. At least he leaves here every night about 9 o'clock, and he takes a sack of lunch with him, and it's
He
all
leaves
that...
here about 9 at night. Herb begins to look as though we're on the right track. Now, what apartment has he?
Number 201. It's on the 2nd floor, right off the stairs. Hey, wait a minute. What do you men want to know all this for? You friends of his?
We're detectives, ma'am. Los Angeles Police Department.
Detectives? Oh, I might have known this would happen. Just as I was getting back on my feet. Well, what's he done?
This may not be the man we're after, ma'am. But if it is, we want him for a little attempted bank robbery.
Bank robbery? A bank robbery in my house?
Now, don't get excited, ma'am. We just want to talk to him and make sure. There won't be any trouble. You know if he's in right now?
Oh, no. Mr. Watson went out a little while ago, but I...
Well, if you don't mind, then we'll go up and take a look at the apartment.
Well, I don't know as I should let you.
You wouldn't want to prevent us from arresting a thief, would
Oh,
you?
heaven forbid. Well, I guess it's all right. But what if Mr. Watson comes home while you're up there? What will
Just let him come up. Now, don't say a word to him about our being there. In that way, you can help us a lot, ma'am.
All right, but I hope I don't have to talk to him. I'm so nervous. I'm sure he'd sense there was something wrong.
Have
and
you
I...
a key to the apartment?
Yes, sir, right here.
Thanks. All right, Hal. Let's take a look around up there. And don't forget, ma'am, don't say anything to anyone. I promise you there'll be no disturbance if we can help it.
Well, all right, but I tell you, my nerves are so upset I'll never be the same again.
Better take a look in the bathroom and all the closets, Herb, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, right. Nothing here. There's no one here, Hal. Hey, here's something that might interest you in this closet.
What is it?
A pair of dirty overalls, a flashlight, and a pair of trousers that look a whole lot like the match to that sleeve we found.
I guess that settles it, Herb. This is one of the men we're looking for. Now, all we have to do is to sit tight till he shows up.
Have your gun handy, Hal. This guy might just decide to shoot his way out when he sees us.
Well, I feel sorry for him if he does. I have a feeling he'd come out second best.
For an hour and a half, the two men sit in a small room waiting for the arrival of their quarry. Nothing happens. Other tenants go by outside, but no one opens the door to apartment 201. Then, suddenly, the detectives become aware of footsteps approaching and stopping outside the door. A key scratches against the metal. The bolt turns in the lock. And as the door swings open, Ledbetter draws his gun, snaps on the light, and faces the newcomer. What the?
Well, if you're a burglar, it won't do you any good. There's nothing in this room that's valuable.
Don't worry, miss. I'm not a burglar. Are you Mrs. Watson?
Why, yes, but if you're not a burglar, what are you doing in my room?
My name's Ledbetter, Mrs. Watson. Detective Ledbetter of the Los Angeles Police Department. My partner and I are waiting for your husband.
My husband? Well, what do you want with him?
We just want to ask him a few questions, ma'am.
Maybe you could answer them for him.
Well, I don't know. I don't know just what to
What
say.
business is your husband in?
Well, he's a plumber by trade, but he's been out of work for a long time.
Oh, a plumber, eh?
Yes, he's been out looking for a job, but with things as they are, he hasn't been able to find anything.
Does he happen to go out looking for jobs about 9 o'clock at night?
Why, yes, he does. Say, if you think you've got anything on my husband, you're crazy. He's a plumber, and he hasn't done anything wrong. You can't arrest Jim unless you've got something on him.
Now, wait a minute, lady. Take it easy. There's no good in your flying off the handle like that. If he hasn't done anything, he'll be able to explain what he's been doing running around after 9 o'clock. That's a mighty funny time of night to look for work.
I don't care. He hasn't done anything.
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to go down to the station with my partner here. I'll wait and pick up Watson when he shows up, Bert.
Okay, Hal. Come along, Mrs. Watson. We've got a few more questions to ask you when you get to headquarters.
But I haven't done anything. Why are you taking me with you?
Just to ask a few questions, lady. Just a few questions. What reasons did your husband give you for going out at that time of night to look for a job?
He was looking for work at the city offices. He told me that nighttime was the only time he could see the man in charge.
Didn't you think that was a little silly at the time?
I don't know. I suppose it did enter my mind. But I know Jim, and he's not a liar. I tell you he hasn't done anything to be arrested for.
What about those dirty overalls in the closet at your apartment?
Oh, those were his working clothes. He used them to cover up his suit with on dirty jobs.
And had he been using them lately?
Why, yes, he took them with him at night.
To look for a job? That doesn't make much sense, does it, Mrs. Watson?
Oh, I don't know. But I won't believe it.
Yeah?
Lieutenant Ledbetter's out here, sir. He's got Watson and 2 others with him.
Oh, good. Show Mrs. Watson out to the matron's office, Burns. Then tell Ledbetter to come in.
Yes, sir. This way, ma'am.
I'm sure you'll find out that you're wrong, Lieutenant.
That remains to be seen, Mrs. Watson. I'll call you as soon as I've talked to your husband.
Oh, thank you.
If I hadn't been in this business as long as I have, I'd almost believe that woman.
All right, in here.
Well, quite a crowd. Where'd you find the other 2?
They conveniently walked in, one after another, a little while after you left.
Which one of you is Watson?
There's 2 Watsons, Herb. This is Jim. This is Bill. This one's name is McIntosh, Tom McIntosh.
Well, now, isn't that nice? What do you say to all this, Jim?
I don't know what this is all about. But I'm telling you right now, it's a pretty lousy thing when you can't even walk into your own apartment without a bunch of flat feet grabbing you and running you in.
And you haven't any idea as to why you're here?
No.
Well, suppose I have Lieutenant Ledbetter tell you all about it, then. Would you care to tell these gentlemen why they're here, Lieutenant?
Certainly. In the first place, there's a bank over on the corner of Figueroa and Adams that has a lot of money in it. And right out in front of that bank, there's a manhole that leads down into the sewer.
Hey, what's the idea of all this chatter? What are we arrested for? That's what we want to know. We'll get to that. Continue with your story, Lieutenant.
And about 3 days ago, 3 men were down in a little tunnel that they dug from the sewer pipe to the vault of the bank. As a matter of fact, they were within a half an inch of about $25,000 in banknotes. But unfortunately for them, a night watchman happened to hear the sound of their chisel made on the steel vault and turned in an alarm.
I told you that lousy chisel made...
Shut up, you little
fool!
You told them the chisel made too much noise, eh, Bill? Well, you were right. Now, what do you boys say to this?
Nothing.
All right. In the little tunnel, we found several things belonging to the men who managed to get away from us. Among these things was a torn coat sleeve. I have it right here. Have you ever seen this before, Jim?
No. I've never seen it.
Well, that's funny. How about these trousers here? Have you ever seen them?
Yeah, they're mine.
Doesn't it strike you funny that you've never seen the coat sleeve? Yet it's out of a coat that matches these trousers?
I knew it. I knew we'd get caught. And you said it was
Why, you
perfectly
filthy little
safe.
stool pigeon, I'll knock that mouth of yours off your face.
Let me go, will you?
Here, snap out it.
Well, what do you say now, boys? Are you going to tell us about it or not? It'll go a little easier for you if you do.
All right. I suppose we might as well. We did it. It was the first job we'd pulled.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it?
Max. He said it was perfectly safe.
Unfortunately, McIntosh, there's no such thing as a safe crime. You may get away with it for a little while, but in the end, you'll get caught. And then it's a tough rap.
Listen, I don't know what's going on around here, but I know I'm not going to be railroaded to jail. These guys are nuts saying I planned the job. Why, I haven't even been with them. They've been going around robbing banks. I haven't known anything about it. It's a frame-up, that's what it is. That's mighty interesting, Mac, but I'm afraid it's a little too late to be effective.
We've got enough evidence on you three to put you safely away for a long, long time. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Your name?
Henry Russell.
Occupation?
Cleaner.
Address?
326 and a quarter Estrella Avenue, Los Angeles.
Step over here, please.
You're in the cleaning business, Mr. Russell?
Yes, sir.
In your business, you see lots of people every day.
Quite a few.
Would you remember a face if you'd seen it more than once?
I believe I would, sir.
Do you recognize that man sitting over there? The one who's known to the court as James Watson?
Yes, sir. I cleaned some of his clothes.
Do you remember what he told you his name was?
Yes, sir. Jim, or rather Tim Matson.
You're sure the name was Matson and not Watson?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Russell, here's a suit of clothes. You recognize it?
Yes, sir.
Whose is it?
Tim Matson.
And how are you so sure of this?
Because, sir, I've examined the lining, and it has a laundry mark which I use for Mr. Matson's clothes.
Then you can be absolutely certain that this suit belongs to Mr. Matson, the man sitting over there?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Russell. That will be all.
James Watson, William Watson, and Thomas McIntosh stand and face the court.
James Watson, William Watson, Thomas McIntosh. Have you anything to say before this court passes sentence on you?
Nothing.
No. After hearing the testimony offered against you in this case, this court feels that there is no doubt as to your guilt. However, there is one thing that throws a different light on this case. The testimony given during this trial made it apparent that one of you is the man most guilty. That one of you was responsible for the planning of this attempted crime. Therefore, in sentencing you, I feel that I am justified in my decision. James Watson and William Watson, I sentence you to 6 months in the Los Angeles County Jail to start immediately and run in consecutive days. This is the lightest sentence I am allowed by law to pass on you. And in doing it, I hope that both of you will think twice before you resort again to crime for a living.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
Thomas McIntosh, I'm not going to be so lenient with you. It is your type of man that instigates just such schemes as this. Therefore, it is the sentence of this court that you be confined in San Quentin Penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 and not more than 10 years.
Now, to every boy and girl listening, Rio Grande offers several free gifts. To get these gifts, merely go tonight or tomorrow to your neighborhood Rio Grande cracked gasoline service station. Ask about Rio Grande's free gifts. The attendant will give you the latest copy of the Calling All Cars News, a big double-sized special edition, and it contains illustrations and descriptions of all the free gifts. Choose the ones you want. You can have them all at no cost. Parents will want their boys and girls to have these gifts. We urge you to drive your youngsters to the Rio Grande service station. Get a copy of the Calling All Cars News for yourself. It's full of true detective stories, latest movie news, and interesting articles, and it's free. While you're in the Rio Grande station, try a tank full of Rio Grande cracked gasoline. Find out for yourself why it is used in more police cars, fire engines, ambulances, and emergency equipment than any other gasoline. It delivers police car performance at no extra cost.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Cancellation broadcast 94. Suspects in this case now in custody. That's all. Rolls and questions.
This is Frederick Lindsley bidding you good night for the Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 95. Attention all San Joaquin County Sheriff's cars. Be on the lookout for Willis Patterson and William McKenzie, who escaped last night from the Stockton jail. That is all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Calling All Cars is pleased to present as guest artist Miss Sue Carroll, lovely young motion picture star, who will be heard in tonight's broadcast as the part of Mrs. Patterson.
Boys, how would you like to be a detective? And girls, would you like to be a policewoman and do detective work? Rio Grande offers you free a complete detective outfit. Listen at the end of this program for complete details. School has just started. Thousands of boys and girls must use the streets in coming and going to school. Unless motorists are especially careful, many children will be crippled or killed in auto accidents. Rio Grande has issued strict orders to all its gasoline trucks and all Rio Grande Oil Company cars to watch out for school children and observe even greater caution near all schools. Won't you, too, drive more carefully? When you hear the shriek of a police siren, when police cars come tearing down the street, let the sound of the siren remind you that Rio Grande Cracked is used by more police cars than any other brand. When you hear fire engines racing past, bells clanging, sirens screeching, motors wide open, remember that Rio Grande Cracked gasoline has been chosen to power more fire engines than any other brand. In a score of leading western cities and counties, the purchasing departments have made careful scientific comparisons of all gasoline sold in this market. They have chosen Rio Grande Cracked as the official gasoline for their most important cars, their emergency cars, because tests prove that the exclusive Rio Grande cracking process creates a more powerful, faster gasoline. A gasoline that averages 10 points higher in anti-knock rating. A gasoline that burns far more efficiently and far more economically than uncracked gasoline. Isn't it significant, Mr. Motorist, that these big city purchasing agents, with all their scientific buying, choose the same Rio Grande cracked gasoline that you can get from your independent neighborhood service station? Why don't you profit by the experience of these experts and enjoy police car performance in your car? And now it is our pleasure to present Deputy Sheriff Rudy L. Weber of Sheriff Harvey M. Odell's staff of San Joaquin County, who will speak to you from the studios of KFRC in San Francisco, California. Deputy Sheriff Weber.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The case we are bringing you tonight from the files of the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office should point a strong moral. 2 robberies and a murder would not have occurred if our force had not been undermanned by a curtailed budget. There are many complex problems to the financing of a community, and the will of the citizen and taxpayer is always in the end the dictating factor on how public money should be spent. But in any community, 2 public functions which should never be limited in the receipt of public monies to enable them to function properly are the schools and the agencies that enforce the law. Crime decreases in communities where education is sufficiently disseminated. Crime increases in communities where the public budget will not permit adequate police protection. Such a fact made possible the jailbreak about which you will shortly hear, and, in the final analysis, costs the life of an innocent citizen. It is my sincere hope that the taxpayer considers these things the next time he or she is asked to vote upon tax expenditures.
Our story opens in the cell block of the San Joaquin County Jail, where in 2 adjoining cells, a check bouncer and a hijacker have struck up a firm friendship.
Well, another 5 months and I'll be out of this pogey.
I wish I could say as much.
What the devil did you plead guilty for? The only reason I did was that the rap was so small that I didn't see no sense in fighting it in court.
Yeah, but I had to plead guilty. That guy Solari I hijacked recognized me. He identified me on the stand, and then where'd I be?
Yeah, but hijacking ain't so hot. They'll probably put you away in Quentin for a couple of years.
Yeah, not if I can help it. I've applied for probation.
You've applied for probation with your record?
Well, it don't hurt none to ask.
fat chance you'll have of getting it.
Maybe I will and maybe I won't. But there's one thing
Pipe
sure.
down. Here comes a guard.
Mackenzie,
Yeah?
Taylor wants to see him.
Well, what for? I ain't done nothing.
Don't ask me. I don't know what he wants.
Maybe he's going to spring you, Mac.
Fat chance.
So, after going over the list of the prisoners, Mackenzie, we've come to the conclusion that you are best qualified for the job.
Thank you, sir.
You'll keep the books as well as assist me in my duties.
Yes, sir.
You'll realize that in this position as trustee, you will have privileges denied the other prisoners. We expect that you can be placed on your honor and will not violate the trust we placed in you.
Oh, yes, sir. You can count on me.
Well, how about it? Did he give you the key to the city?
Darn near. He made me a trustee.
What?
Sure. I'm moving out of this cell down to the trustee tank, and I'm handling the books at the desk.
Say, that's just fine.
What do you mean?
You and I are going to be pals, ain't we?
Sure.
Okay, then. I'm not going to wait for probation or anything else. We're walking out of this joint.
What do you mean?
Why, with you at the desk, we're a cinch.
Yeah, but I'm a trustee.
Don't be a sap. You know how far you can trust a cop, don't you? Well, that's just as far as they ought to trust a jailbird. In our racket, pal, it's every man for himself, except in the smart guys like you and me that team up. And we're the guys that get places.
Yeah, but...
Pipe down and listen to me. I'll be wondering why you ain't come back in a minute. Now, the next time my wife comes to see me, I'll knock you down to her and put her wise to what we're going to do. Why, Mac, this is a cinch. A lead pipe cinch.
Oh, Pat, darling, how are you?
I'm okay, Babs. Hello, Trudy.
Hello. Oh, I wish they wouldn't have this wire between us. I want to kiss you, Pat. I want to put my arms around you.
Yeah, but this is the pokey, not a parlor. Now, listen, honey. Cut out the slop and get this, because we ain't got much time. I got a new pal. He's over there at the desk. They made him a trustee. Next visiting day, you bring me a set of saws, give them to him.
You gonna break out?
Sure.
Oh, be careful, please, honey.
Sure, you know me. I want you to meet this guy. Hey, Mac.
Yeah?
Come over here a minute, will you?
Sure.
Mac, I want you to know my missus.
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah. Glad to know you.
And who's your cute friend, Pat?
Oh, yeah. This is Bab's sister, Trudy.
Hello, Trudy.
Hello.
Not bad, Pat. You've been holding out on me.
Yeah, well, I can't think of everything. Now, listen. Next time the missus comes down, she'll bring the saws and drop them on your desk. Get it?
Okay.
Time's up, Patterson.
Well, I gotta go now, kid.
Goodbye, honey.
Goodbye, Babs. And be sure them saws cut steel.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Did you wish to see someone?
Yes, please. I've come to see my husband.
And the name?
Patterson.
Oh, yes, Patterson. Just a moment, please. Visitors for Patterson, Mr. Springer.
Very well, I'll bring him down.
Swell act you put on, Mrs. Patterson.
Thanks.
Got the saws?
Here they are. Inside this newspaper.
Swell. I'll just slip them into the desk drawer here.
When you making the break?
Day after tomorrow, I go on night shift. We'll be waltzing out of here any time after that.
Oh, that's swell.
Guess you'll be glad to get your sweet daddy back, huh, Mrs. Patterson?
I'll say.
How about you, Trudy? I was about seeing something of you when I get out, huh?
Okay.
I think you and me will get along swell.
Maybe.
Here comes Pat. Come along, Trudy.
Okay.
See you soon, Trudy.
Well, Mackenzie, how do you like this night shift?
Oh, it ain't so bad. Quieter than daytime.
Yeah, but I like it better on day shift.
Why?
Well, it's a big responsibility guarding a jail full of prisoners. County ought to spend more money on its law enforcement agencies. Ought to have a couple of men on duty here all the time. Too much for one man to handle. Too big a responsibility. Now take that, for instance. There goes the buzzer from the alley door. Probably got a drunk to book. I gotta go all the way down and let him in. While I'm gone, anything could happen up here.
Oh, no, not with me on duty. I'll watch after things.
Well, see that you do. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yes, sir. Now, let's see. The keys ought to be in this drawer here. Yeah, here they are. Now to get this tank open.
Who is it? What do you want?
It's me, Mackenzie. Hurry up. We only got a couple of minutes.
Hey, you're a pal, Nick. How'd you do it? Have to bump off the jailer?
Shh. I'll tell you all about it later. Come on.
How'd you get by with it?
Easy. The jailer was called down to the alley entrance, but he'll be back any minute.
Got the saws?
Yeah, they're right there in the desk drawer. Here you are.
Swell.
Now you duck through that door there into the jail kitchen. Wait over by the sink. If we cut through the bars of that window, we can let ourselves down on the roof of the Identification Bureau and go down to the street on the other side.
Okay, pal.
Now beat it. I hear the jailer coming back.
Okay.
I'll go in there as soon as I can. Angel, over these prison walls I would fly. Well, Mr. Springer, what was it this time?
Another drunk. In terrible shape he was. Been drinking canned heat, I'll bet. Had to throw a bucket of water on him before I could get his name out of him.
Such people there are in the world.
Yeah, it's pretty disillusioning to be around this place very long.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta get back at these reports.
I just about finished mine, Mr. Springer. And I was wondering if you'd mind if I went into the kitchen and washed out some of my dirty clothes.
Oh, that's all right. Go ahead. But mind you don't swipe nothing out of the icebox.
Don't worry, Huh? What do you think I am, a crook? Hey, Pat.
Yeah. Here I am behind the door.
Come on, let's get at that window.
What's the jailer doing?
Feeling sorry for himself because a jail's a disillusioning place. What a disillusionment he's got coming up. Here's the window we'll work on. We only got to cut one of those bars and we can squeeze through okay.
Well, let's get started then.
Jailer Springer soon discovers his prisoner's absence, and within half an hour, the San Joaquin Sheriff's Office and the Stockton Police Department swing into action. Sheriff Harvey M. Odell issues instructions to the group of sleepy-eyed deputies who have been hastily summoned from their beds in the middle of the night.
Boys, they got a half-hour start on this, but that isn't enough to get very far. I've already sent their descriptions all over the state by teletype. If they've attempted to leave town, they'll be picked up before they get very far. But unless they had a car waiting for them on the outside of the jail, they're still in town. Mosher.
Yes, sir.
Want you to take a detail of men and blockade Stockton. Cover every road leading out of town. Stop all cars that look at all suspicious.
Yes, sir.
Hansbrough.
Yes, sir.
You take a detail and cover all of Patterson's known haunts. All the joints he's made, the hotels, and the homes of his friends. First of all, pay a call on Mrs. Patterson. My hunch is that he'll try and get through to his wife as soon as he can.
Yes, sir.
I tell you, I don't know nothing about it. Only I will say this. If Pat got out of jail, more power to him.
When did you see him last?
Last visiting day at the jail?
Hasn't he made any attempt to communicate with you?
No.
If he does, we want to know about it.
That'll be up to you. You don't think I'm going to tell you, do you?
How about your sister here? You seen Patterson, girlie?
Uh-huh.
When did you see him last?
When Barbara did. At jail.
You know this Mackenzie fellow?
Uh-huh. I met him at the jail.
Never knew him before.
Uh-uh. He's kind of cute, though.
Gee, Pat, I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, don't you suppose I am?
It wasn't no fun laying in those bushes for 2 days and not even a cigarette to smoke.
Well, our troubles are about over. We're visiting here for a while.
Whose house is this?
Blackie Taroni is an old pal of mine.
Gee, it's swell to have friends, ain't it?
Yeah. Yeah, here's the joint. Now, let me do the talking.
Okay.
Now, you better be home.
Here comes somebody.
Oh, hello, Blackie.
Oh, hello, Pat.
Meet my friend, Bill McKenzie. This is Blackie Taroni.
Hiya.
Glad to know you, Mackenzie.
We're coming in.
Wait a minute, Pat. We got to be on the spot. All the coppers in the world are looking for you guys.
Yeah, what of it? We're coming in.
Yeah, but Pat, you know how it is. Listen.
Sure I do. You're always ready to help an old pal.
Yeah, but if the bulls find you
Well,
here...
they ain't, because we ain't going to be here very long. Just long enough for you to wrestle us up some grub and give us some clean clothes and drive us out to that ranch on the Lockford Road where Eddie Waters is foreman.
Now, look here, Pat. That's asking the too much.
I ain't asking you anything. I'm telling you what you got to do.
But look at it this way
You wouldn't
now.
want Sheriff Odell to know anything about that hijacking last winter when they found two guys lying in the irrigation ditch with their faces blasted off now, would you, Blackie?
No, but Pat, that's all over. I'm going to straighten, huh? I ain't in the racket no more.
Once you're in for life. You're going to do as I tell you, or I'll take care of you one way or the other. If the bulls don't get you, a spray of lead will. Now get your old lady to work out in that kitchen and stop your beefing. Mac and me's in a hurry.
The safest place for you boys to hide is out in the barn here.
Yeah, it's not exactly the Ritz, is it, Eddie?
No, but that hay'll make a more comfortable bed than a cotton jail.
You said it.
Yeah, it sure makes a guy feel good to have a pal like you, Eddie. No arguing like we had to do with that rat Blackie.
Well, what'd you expect? He's small-time stuff.
Yeah, and going straight, the
Say, Eddie, how about your boss? Will he get wise?
Nah, he don't come out here from town very often. And I got a good kid working around the joint who'll look after you.
Can he be trusted?
I'll say. And he's smart, too, and ambitious. Willing to make a dollar any way you say.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. What's his name?
Harry Blackwood.
Yeah, good morning, Harry.
Oh, hello, boys. I brought you in some breakfast.
That's swell. And can we punish it?
Say, Harry, Mac and me been thinking. We're getting tired of laying around this barn. We want to get into action again, and we need some help. You want to play ball with us?
Oh, sure.
That's fine.
What do you want me to do?
Well, first of all, we need a fast car, and I know where we can get one.
Where's that?
Mike Bonomi, a bootlegger who lives over on the river, has a big sedan, just what we need. You drive us over to his place tonight, and we'll hijack his car. This car will do the work all right, Harry. We made 85 coming back from Mike's last night.
Sure is a swell heap.
You got those new plates attached yet, Mac?
Boy, that Japanese farmer's going to wonder what it's all about when he finds a license missing from his old Ford.
How about the rods? Did he get them for us?
Yeah, 3 of them.
How are you with the gat, Harry?
Well, to tell the truth, I never handled one before.
You didn't? You're going to be a lot of help.
Well, don't worry about me. I got plenty of nerve.
Well, okay, kid. I like you, so I'll take a chance on you.
Who we going to knock over first?
There's an old guy by the name of Fitzgibbons who runs a service station and bar out at the junction of the Comanche and Wallace roads. He's always got a big roll on hand and cashes a lot of checks for his friends. We'll take him tonight.
Yes, sir. How many?
5 will be okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, where's the old man?
Oh, he's gone to bed.
Yeah, I guess it is pretty late at that. You here all alone?
Yeah, just me and the old man. Check the oil?
No, the oil's okay. How much do I owe you?
Well, let's see. 5 gallons, it'll be 88 cents.
Yeah, just a minute till I get out my pocketbook. There. Stick 'em up and get inside.
Hey, what's the
Be
idea?
quiet. Get in there. Come on, boys. The till's behind the bar. Get to work on it.
Okay. I can't get it open.
Hey, you. Open it up for him.
Yeah, but look here.
Open it up for him.
All right, there you are.
How much is in it?
About $8.
Hey, where's the rest of the money?
I don't know. That's all there is in here.
There's a roll in here, and we want it. Where's old man Fitzgibbons?
Well, he's in the next room sleeping, but there isn't any money.
Take a look in there. Who's out there?
Take him up.
Who you? What do you want?
Did you get him, Harry?
Yes, I think so.
Let's see. Click on that light. I'll say you got him. Right through the heart. I thought you said you never fired a gun before.
Well, I did. That is the first shot I ever fired.
Yeah, don't let it get you down. Come on, let's go over this bed. The roll's probably around here somewhere.
Oh, gee, Pat, let's get out of here. I can't stand to look at
Shut
him.
up. Now, let's see. Yeah, here's the poke under the pillow. Okay, let's get moving. Yank that phone off the wall.
Okay.
All right, you. Outside.
Don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me.
Well, you won't if you be good. Go on, outside. Now, you stand right here by the gas pump until we're out of sight. Don't make a break for it, because 2 of us will have our gats on you. Okay, boys, pile in.
San Joaquin Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Adele speaking.
This is Sheriff Swing over in Calaveras County, Sheriff. I got a hold-up murder that happened just over the county line on our side. The suspect escaped in the direction of Stockton, and I'd like some help.
Okay, Sheriff. I'll get some men over there right away. Well, boys, what'd you find?
Pal Patterson, the escape pulled that job.
How'd you know?
The attendant at the station identified his picture as one of the 3 bandits.
Number 2 was probably McKenzie.
Probably. Also, the theft of Mike Bonomi's sedan is cleared up.
How's that?
Tire marks at the service station checked with tire marks of his car.
Oh, who's the 3rd man?
The attendant says he was addressed as Larry, Harry, or Clary.
Larry, Harry, or Clary. That's a new one. Have any idea who he is?
No.
Well, start checking on Patterson's hangouts and watch Mrs. Patterson.
Yes, sir. Right away.
But shadowing officers find that Mrs. Patterson has flown the coop. Trudy, the sister, is vague and non-committal, and officers can discover nothing from her. The case is at an impasse when Mosier, checking with postal authorities, gets a clue which looks good to the sheriff.
Here's a tracing of a letter addressed to Mrs. Patterson's sister, Sheriff.
Yes?
Looks a lot like Patterson's handwriting to me. Got a return address on it. 511 North 6th Avenue, Boise, Idaho.
Get in touch with Chief Robinson of the Boise Police right away and ask him to follow up on it and report to us.
Ernie, I got a little job for you right close to home.
What's that, Chief?
San Joaquin Sheriff's Office wants us to check a couple of murder suspects staying at 511 North 6th Avenue.
That's just a half a block from my house.
That's right. You better go out and see what your neighbors are up to.
Emmer, here's a circular describing a couple of jail escapes and suspected murders from Stockton. They're supposed to be staying down the block. Seen anybody like them in the neighborhood the last few days?
Oh, Ernest. Well, let me look at them. Why, yes. They've been coming in and going out of that house down the street. Oh, merciful heavens, to think that we have murderers on our block.
What house they staying in, 511?
Why, yes, Ernest.
What kind of a car do they drive?
A nice black sedan.
California license?
No, an Idaho license.
Probably stolen. Hey, look, Emma, I want you to do some detective work for me.
Detective? Oh, what do I have to do? Oh, Ernest. Now, don't you ask me to carry a gun. You know how frightened I get.
No, nothing like that. Now, all you have to do is to sit down on the front porch with your sewing, and when you see those 2 men drive up, call me down at headquarters.
All right, Ernest.
Detective Bureau, Stoop speaking.
Ernest, they just drove up. They went into the house.
Swell. Good girl, Emma.
Oh, do be careful, Ernest.
No, don't worry, I will. Thanks a lot. Murray, Emery, McIntyre, on your toes. We got a stakeout waiting for us right now.
What's the plan, Cap?
As soon as someone leaves the house to get into the car, we drive up and put them under arrest.
David, are you sure they're the right guy?
No doubt about it. My wife identified the circulars. They're wanted as escapes and on suspicion of murder.
Hey, here comes somebody out of the house now.
Sneak up on them, McIntyre. Just a minute, boys.
Yeah, what do you want?
We're police officers, and you're under arrest. Now, don't try to break with it, Patterson. I don't want to have to shoot you.
Hey, what's this all about? My friend and me ain't guilty of anything.
Save your breath. You're escaped from San Joaquin County, California. All right, shake them down, boys.
Hey, now look here. Nothing on him, Patterson, Captain.
Okay. Put him in the car, Mary.
Yes, sir. Come on, you.
Why, you lousy, he's making a break.
Hey, let him have it. Let him have it. All right. Take Mackenzie in and book him with the fugitive, Murray. I'll call an ambulance and take care of Patterson, if he's still alive. How is he, Doc?
3 bullets in the back. One of them in the spine. If he lives, he'll be paralyzed for life from the waist down.
Can I talk to him?
Yes, but don't tire him out. He needs his strength.
All right. I'll be careful.
This way.
Well, Patterson, how are you feeling?
Lousy.
Sorry we had to wing you.
And I don't blame you none, Cap. You did your duty. I took a chance and I lost.
You want to come clean about that murder in Calaveras County?
I don't know nothing about it.
You admit you're a fugitive from justice.
Yeah, I admit that. I'm an escape, but that's all I admit.
You're pretty sick, Patterson. An honest confession's good for the soul, you know.
I'll get better. I'll get out of here, you'll see.
You'll never walk if you do.
You can't scare me. I admit I'm a fugitive, but I didn't do no murdering. And what's more, I don't know nothing about it.
Mackenzie is not so difficult. Faced by the case Sheriff Odell and his men have built against him, he confesses and names Blackwood as the actual murderer. Back to Stockton goes Mackenzie, paying for his 18 days of freedom with charges of murder, robbery, and grand theft lodged against him. Now the search centers upon the missing Blackwood. As a link towards his capture, officers concentrate upon Eddie Waters.
Eddie, we had you in not so long ago for murder. You beat the rap that time, but if you're going in for this sort of business, you won't stay out of jail very long.
You can't try me for that bum beef again.
We know the law as well as you do, Eddie. We know we can't try you for murder again, but we certainly can make your life miserable by watching you day and night. We don't think you're such a good risk anymore, Eddie. Now, how about it? Where's Blackwood?
I don't know.
I have an idea you do, Eddie. I think your life would be a lot happier if you told us.
Say, I ain't no fink.
I'm not asking you to be. I'm just suggesting that you be sensible.
Well, last I heard he was back in town staying at the home of Mrs. Johnson.
Staying with Mrs. Johnson?
Yeah.
That's the wife of the man you were accused of murdering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well. How chummy. You boys sure keep everything in the family, don't you?
Eddie's information was correct. That night, Blackwood was found at Mrs. Johnston's house, and with all three men in custody, with an iron-bound case against them, the legal machinery began to operate. But death beat the law when Patterson, weakened by his wounds, succumbed in Boise on August 20th. Blackwood, because of his youth and the fact that he had no prior criminal record, received life imprisonment in San Quentin, and Mackenzie, 38 days after he had broken his trust in the San Joaquin County Jail, was entering the grim gates of Folsom for the rest of his natural life. Death and prison, such were the rewards of these three buckaroos who thought they could make crime pay. Rio Grande offers free of charge to every boy and every girl a complete junior police detective outfit. Police badges, guns, holsters, fingerprint outfits, siren whistles, and many more gifts to come. All free. Every motorist who buys 5 gallons of Rio Grande cracked gasoline is entitled to 1 unit of police money. Save these units. Every boy and every girl wants them because they can be exchanged for complete junior police detective outfits. When you drive into the Rio Grande service station, ask the attendant for your free copy of the latest Calling All Cars news, the big special double-sized edition. Besides the regular true detective stories and latest movie news, it describes the many free gifts that comprise the junior detective outfit and tells how to get them quickly. You get a lot of extras at no extra cost when you get Rio Grande cracked gasoline. A free copy of the news, free police money, which you exchange for free gifts and extra speed, extra power, and extraordinary police car performance in your own car.
Calling all cars. Attention all cars. San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. Calling all cars. Cancellation broadcast 95 regarding escapes from Stockton Jail. These suspects are now in custody. That is all.
Narrator Frederick Lindsley bidding you good night for the Rio Grande Oil Company. Calling All Cars, a copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars, attention all cars, broadcast 96. Regarding a kidnapping. The victim described as female, 25 years, 5 feet 1 inch, about 115 pounds. Has brown eyes, black hair. Was last seen in the company of a gray-haired man in the vicinity of Brownell Avenue and 12th Street. All cars be on the lookout for this woman. That's all. Rosenquist.
Boys, girls, listen to this. Those shots came from the official junior police pistol, and that siren shriek came from the official junior police siren whistle. These are only two of the many free gifts in the junior detective outfit that Rio Grande offers all boys and girls. Go to any dealer selling Rio Grande cracked gasoline and ask how you can get the complete detective outfit absolutely free. The scream of the siren as police cars and fire engines speed through the streets is a continual reminder of Rio Grande cracked gasoline, the gasoline that powers more emergency cars than any other brand. In tonight's program, the Hollywood police cars that chase and capture the criminals use Rio Grande cracked gasoline exclusively, as do the police cars, fire engines, and emergency equipment of Los Angeles, Oakland, Berkeley, Marysville, San Diego County, Maricopa County, Arizona, and many other cities and counties. Do you realize that your own car must meet the same driving conditions as these emergency cars? You often crawl along like a snail in traffic. Then, at a signal, you tramp on the throttle. Then, when you want acceleration, speed, instantly. Emergency cars have proved that Rio Grande cracked gives faster acceleration, gains speed, seconds sooner than other gasoline. Why don't you, too, enjoy police car performance in your car? Once again, it is our pleasure to present Chief James E. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. Tonight, Calling All Cars deals with a subject that I am sure is of interest to everyone, kidnapping. Of all the various types of crimes that we have to deal with, kidnapping is perhaps the most difficult, because one false move on our part and we have a murder on our hands instead of kidnapping. To the layman who reads the details in the daily paper, the work of running down and capturing kidnappers probably sounds thrilling. But to the officers, it is a matter of long, patient elimination. Months may go by with no single clue as to the identity of the suspects. Months in which, to the outside public, it seems the case is forgotten. But during these months, the investigation never stops. Night and day, the difficult task of sifting evidence goes on, carefully checking and rechecking the smallest items that might bring a ray of light to the case, and forging a chain of evidence that will eventually point to the guilty persons. It is a long, hard job, but as indicated by the ever-growing list of convictions in recent kidnapping cases, an effective one.
It is a cold evening in January 1921. Inside a small house on Brownell Street in Hollywood, the crackling flames of a wood fire strike a cheery note. In the dining room, Mrs. Margaret Worth and a woman neighbor are busily setting the table for the family's dinner.
There. The candle's in the center. Now, how does it look? It's lovely. Really lovely. Mr. Worth should be awfully pleased. Yes, it's so seldom that his mother comes into town that he gets an awful lot of pleasure out of seeing her. I thought we'd have a sort of a party for her tonight.
Well, you've certainly done wonders with that table. It's the most cheerful-looking thing I've seen in a long time.
But I don't know what in the world I would have done without you. It was grand of you to come over and help like this.
Well, I haven't done a thing. Besides, I like to putter with things like this. It's been a long time since I've had a family table. My husband didn't have any family, and mine lives so far away that I never see them anymore.
You miss them, don't you, now that your husband's gone?
Well, sometimes I can't help wishing we could all get together again just for a sort of reunion. But when you get to be my age, you somehow just don't expect things.
I've got a grand idea. You stay here tonight for dinner with us.
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Why, of course you'll stay. Why, you're just as much a part of this family as any of us.
Well, if you don't think I'd be in the way.
Be in the... Why, if you're not the silliest person I've ever known in all my life. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do. You run in and get another plate, and I'll put a place on the table here, and we'll have a regular family dinner party.
All right, well, I won't be a minute.
Oh, dear, that must be Mother now. I'll go to the door, and you finish setting the table.
All right.
hello, Mother. Oh.
Mrs. Worth?
Why, yes.
There's been an accident out on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I'm afraid someone in your family has been hurt.
Oh, is it?
An elderly woman. She asked for you, said you were expecting her, and wanted me to get in touch with you.
Oh, how terrible. Is she hurt badly?
I don't really know, Mrs. Worth. She asked that you come right out to her. I got my car here. I'd be glad to take you there.
Oh, that's awfully good of you. Will you come in a moment? I'll get my coat.
That's all right. I'll wait here for you.
All right, I'll only be a minute. Oh, Mrs. Norton. Mrs. Norton.
Yes?
I'm afraid something terrible's happened. I'll have to go out to Santa Monica right away. Mother's been in an automobile accident and needs me. Will you bring me my coat? And I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to look after the baby. I'll be back or call you as soon as I find out what we'll have to do.
Well, all right. Now, you go right ahead and don't worry about baby Jack.
Oh, thank you. If my husband gets home before I call you, tell him what's happened and to wait right here for a call.
Yes, I will. Now, you run along, and I'll stay right here until I hear from you.
All right. I'll be back just as soon as I can.
But lovely Margaret Worth is not destined to be back home as soon as she thought. An hour after she has left, her husband returns to the house where he learns from Mrs. Norton of the tragic accident. Worried, he waits nearly an hour for a phone call. And then, learning from Mrs. Norton that the scene of the accident was on Santa Monica Boulevard, he starts out in his car, hoping to find his wife and his mother, or at least learn their whereabouts. Arriving at the approximate scene of the accident, the frantic husband inquires from proprietors of small gas stations and fruit stands. But no one has heard of a crash. Worried to the breaking point, Mr. Worth finally comes to the horrible conclusion that his wife has disappeared. A phone call to his home verifies his suspicions when he learns that his mother has arrived and is at the house and says there is no truth in the accident story. Margaret Worth has disappeared from the face of the earth. Realizing that the first step is to notify the police, Mr. Worth drives to police headquarters and tells his story to Detective Lieutenants Louis Oakes and Ed King.
I can't think of any reason for a thing like this.
The usual reason for kidnapping is money, Mr. Worth.
Oh, I know that, of course, but it seems incredible to me that a full-grown woman could be taken right out of her own home and spirited away. I just can't understand it.
Did this neighbor of yours see the man that called for Mrs. Worth?
Not well. She said that she was so upset by the news that she really didn't pay any attention to him.
Well, Louis, that leaves us with practically nothing to go on.
Strikes me that the person that did this must have been pretty well acquainted with the movements of your family, Mr. Worth.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, in the first place, he must have known that your mother was coming to dinner with you on this particular night. And he must have known that she'd be driving in from out of town.
Oh, that's right.
Do you have any ideas as to who might be aware of these things, Mr. Worth? Someone who might want to hurt you?
No, I can't think of a person. No one. Wait a minute.
What is it?
There was a former partner of mine. I don't suppose it has anything to do with this thing, but as I was driving here, I saw him in a car with my secretary.
The secretary that works for you now?
Yes.
Is the secretary familiar with your home life? That is, would she know about your social appointments?
But she handles all my social affairs as well as my business appointments.
Looks as though we might have hit on something mighty important, Louis. Now, Mr. Worth, can you give us a little information about this former partner?
Oh, of course. Anything that'll help get Margaret back.
Well, what's his name?
George Felderman.
And how long has it been since you were in business with him?
Oh, it's been nearly 2 years since we parted.
Any reason to think this Felderman might want to hurt you?
Did he have a grudge against you?
Well, we weren't exactly what you'd call friends when we parted, but I have no real reason to believe he'd want to do anything like this.
Have you had any dealings with him lately?
No, I haven't seen the man more than twice in the last year. This evening's the first time in at least 2 months.
Now, about this secretary of yours, Mr. Worth. Have you ever seen her with Felderman before?
Well, not that I remember, no.
You're positive it was your secretary you saw tonight?
Oh, absolutely. There could be no mistaking it.
Did she see you?
Well, I don't see how she could have.
Good. Ed, I think we'd better call Nick Harris and have him put a couple of operatives on the secretary and Felderman.
Yeah.
Meantime, it's absolutely necessary that we keep this news from the papers. You, Mr. Worth, had better go home and wait for a communication from the kidnappers. And don't mention this to anyone. Tell the woman that's staying with your child that she's not to breathe a word of this. In kidnappings, the most important thing is to let the criminals think you're carrying out their wishes to the letter. If they become frightened, there's no telling what they might do.
Oh, but why can't we go out to my secretary's house right now and get her? I know where she lives.
Because if this is a kidnapping case, Mr. Worth, and I have no doubt but what it is, there's bound to be more than just 1 or 2 people in it. And getting one of the gang will do us no good and only serve to warn the leaders that we're on to them. In that case, I wouldn't care to guess as to your wife's safety.
Oh, I suppose you know best, Lieutenant, but we've got to get her back. We've just got to get her back.
As the hours go by and no word is heard of lovely Margaret Worth, the police department begins its task of setting the machinery in motion for the greatest manhunt in the history of Los Angeles. Private Detective Nick Harris is brought into the case and immediately assigns two of his operatives to shadow Worth's secretary and Felderman and to report every move they make day and night. Despite the efforts of the detectives to keep the case from the papers, the following day headlines scream, Margaret Worth kidnapped. And then, late the following afternoon, a nervous young man appears at the detective headquarters and asks for the man in charge of the investigation.
And what might you be wanting to see him about?
Well, I'd rather not say anything about it here. You see, it's sort of private.
Well, you'll have to tell me what it is you want before I can be letting you in.
Well, just tell him that it's about the kidnapping, then.
About the kidnapping? And what about the kidnapping?
Well, that's what I want to tell whoever's in charge. Will you please let me speak to him?
Just a minute. I'll see what he says. Hello, Lieutenant. There's a young fellow out here that says he wants to see you about that kidnapping case. He won't tell me. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. You can go in. Down that hallway there in the second door on your left.
Thank you.
Come in. Yes?
Are you the man who's in charge of the...
That's right. Come in.
Thank you. I have some information I thought might be of some value to you. It's about the kidnapping.
The kidnapping, yes, I gathered as much. Now, what's the story?
Well, this afternoon I was riding on a streetcar on Eldora Street, and that's out by Boyle Heights, just a few blocks.
I know where it is. Go ahead.
Well, I was riding on a streetcar, and as I didn't have anything to do, I was just looking out the window, watching the cars as they went by.
Yes, and?
Well, I noticed a dilapidated old car parked by the side of the road, and what appeared at first to be a bundle in the back seat. The car I was on stopped alongside of it for a passenger, and I got a better look. And suddenly I saw a hand and an arm reach out of the bundle.
What?
A hand and arm reached out of the bundle. Well, the car I was on started just then, and by the time I could get off and run back, the machine was gone.
Did you get a good look at who was driving it?
Well, no, because you see, when I saw it, there was no driver, but I got the license number.
You got the license number. Good. Have you got it with you?
Yes, sir. Just right here.
Fine. Now, sit down a moment, Mr.
Willows.
Mr. Willows. I'll call the motor vehicle department and see who this license is registered to. Hello, operator. Get the motor vehicle department right away, will you? And find out who has license L32411. Call me back. Thanks. How big was this bundle, Mr. Willows? Would you say it was big enough to hide a full-grown person?
Well, of course, I didn't get too good a look at it, but it might have been that big, although I don't know.
I see. And you say there was no driver there. Did you see anyone else around the car?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, there was a man standing on the curb. He seemed to be waiting for someone. I don't know whether he had anything to do with the car.
Well, we'll just have to. There's the call now. Hello? Yeah. I see. What? So that's it. I see. Well, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's funny. It's very funny. All right. Thanks a lot, anyway. Goodbye.
Oh, is it something?
Oh, yes, it's something. I'm afraid, Mr. Willows, that your suspicions were a little off.
Oh?
A 7-pound boy was born in the back of the dilapidated automobile you saw this afternoon. Both mother and child are doing fine.
Oh.
Thus, what seemed like the first real clue dissolves into the thin wail of a newborn babe. Under the direction of Chief of Police Pendergast, a modern posse of citizens is formed and scour the deserted stretches of Griffith Park, Hollywood Hills, Edendale Park, and all possible places where the lovely young woman might be hidden. But nothing is found. Then, on the second day after the kidnapping, the frantic husband calls Detectives Oakes and King, tells them to come to his house at once. Arriving there, the officers find Mr. Worth waiting for them and apparently highly excited.
I've heard from them. What? A special delivery letter. I have it right here.
Let me see it. It proves conclusively that your wife has been kidnapped. That, at least, is something.
Well, what does it say, Ed?
It says, by the time you receive this, you will have notified the police. But that will do you no good, as your wife is in a safe place where she will be kept until you have left $20,000 next Saturday evening at a place you will be told of later. That's all there is.
There's another note. It was inside the main envelope.
Another note?
From Margaret, my wife.
Well, what does it say?
That if I don't come and get her soon, she'll go crazy.
You sure it's from her, Mr. Worth?
Oh, positive. It's in her handwriting. I'm sure of it. I'm going out and get the money right away and get her.
Wait a minute, Mr. Worth. Your wife is safe at the moment. We know that because they're waiting for the money. There's no guarantee of what they'll do when they get the money. You have no guarantee of her safety after you pay the money.
But I've got to do something. I'll go crazy waiting here not knowing what those fiends are doing to Margaret.
I know it's hard for you, Mr. Worth. The safest thing right now is to stall them until we can get a line on where they're holding your wife.
Oh, but we don't know any more about it now than we did when she was taken. How do you know we'll ever find her?
Well, we can't be sure of anything yet. But it stands to reason that nothing will happen to her as long as they think you're playing the game with them. The thing for you to do is to stay right here and wait to hear from them again. As soon as you do, let us know at once and we'll plan our next move.
Oh, I suppose you're right, but I can't stand this suspense much longer. I keep thinking of my wife somewhere out there, frightened, nearly crazy, and not being able to do anything more than write a note to me. Gentlemen, we've got to do something.
Don't worry, Mr. Worth. We'll do something. I'm not sure just what, but we'll do something.
Meanwhile, the operatives assigned by Nick Harris to follow the suspected secretary and ex-partner have not been idle. With the thoroughness and persistency of a bloodhound, every lead, no matter how minute, has been run down. And at 3:15 the following morning, in the supper room of the Vernon Country Club...
Hello, operator. Give me Drexel 2746W. Yeah. Thanks. Hello, Chief. This is Jones. Our people are out here at the Vernon Country Club. Yeah, sitting around drinking. Yeah. Stay with them? Okay. Yeah, Burns is with me. Okay, Chief. Goodbye.
Well, what do we do?
Stick around and see where they go after here.
We should make up our minds. I'm getting plenty tired of this dump.
You and me both. Oh, well, better than some of the places we've had to hang around.
Yeah. Our party's still sitting over there?
Right where they've been all evening. I've never seen anyone put away so many highballs in one sitting as that bird. He hasn't had a glass out of his hand since 10:30.
I bet he has a list to one side when he tries to get up from that table.
Uh-oh, look.
Huh?
He's paying the check. Maybe they're going to leave.
You're right. And boy, is that gent cockeyed. It's going to be good.
Well, we better start out. We can keep our eye on him from the door and hit for the car as soon as they come out.
Okay, let's go. Oh, where are they?
Right behind us. Keep going and let's get the car. Oh, I hate to think of that guy driving. He's really drunk.
All the better for us. He'll never notice that we're following him.
Well, there's something in that. Well, there's the car. You want to drive?
Okay.
Better pull out the main gate and wait for him. That way, we'll be able to see him when they come out and start right behind him.
Yeah.
Here they come, Burns.
Yeah. Now they're moving. Looks like we're going to have a swell trip into town.
Yeah, if they go to town.
Well, here we go. Hope we can stay with them. Boy, will you look at that speed that guy's making? I don't know whether this bus will stay with him if he goes any faster.
Well, here's hoping. Hey, look at the way that guy's weaving. Nearly went off the road on that turn.
Better slow down for the next intersection. It's blind, and it's a PE crossing.
How's about us slowing down a little?
And lose them? No, sir. We're going to be right behind them when they get where they're going.
Look, there's a trolley coming.
And they don't see it.
Hit the brakes, Burns. They're going to crash.
Yeah.
They're trying to beat the trolley.
Yeah, they can't do it.
Running to the scene of the crash, the two operatives find nothing left but a tangled mass of steel. In the front seat, Life Pelderman, the ex-partner and Worth's secretary. Human sacrifices to the gods of speed, leaving the investigation facing a blank wall. The two main suspects in the morgue. Back in the office of Detective Oakes, a meeting is held to discuss the situation and make new plans.
Well, what's to be done now?
Of all things to happen, this is the worst. Both of them killed and not another clue in our hands.
Well, the first thing to be done is to find out for sure whether we were right or not in our suspicions.
What do you mean, Nick?
Just this. If Felderman was the guilty person, Mrs. Worth is somewhere, and whoever is with her is probably waiting for his return.
Yeah.
When he doesn't show up, this guy is bound to get suspicious and do a little investigating. When he finds out that Felderman has been killed, will he get scared and take it on the lam, leaving Mrs. Worth where she is, or will he try to carry on alone?
Yeah, and if he does run out, what happens to Mrs. Worth?
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. Now, here's an idea that might work. See what you think of it.
Shoot. Okay.
We write a fake ransom note and give it to the papers as the straight goods. They publish it, and the real criminal, if he's still alive, reads the note, figures that it's a phony and that someone is trying to chisel in on his deal and gets in touch with Mr. Worth to straighten it out.
Say, that's not a bad idea, though.
Well, the way I figure now is that anything is worth a chance.
Acting on this idea, a note is phoned to the newspaper stating that Mrs. Worth is safe and that the kidnappers want $50,000 for her return. Within an hour after the time the first paper hits the newsstands, a letter arrives at the Worth home from the real kidnappers, denying that the published note is from them and offering as proof of the authenticity of their identity a chance to talk to Mrs. Worth over the phone. Back in the offices of the detectives.
Well, Nick, it worked.
Yeah, and it proves one thing to us. The two suspects who were killed in that crash had nothing to do with this. The men we want are alive and getting impatient.
Maybe if they get impatient enough, they'll make a slip.
There's always that chance. Now, here's the next move. You, Mr. Worth, stand by your phone day and night. If a call comes from them, try to stall them as long as you can without getting them suspicious. I'll arrange to have any calls made to your house piped into my office and into your father's house. We'll have men at all three places with instructions to phone me the moment anything breaks.
And when it does?
We have the chief operator give us the address of the place the phone call is coming from and go after them. That's where you play a very important part, Mr. Worth. The longer you can keep them talking to you, the better our chances to get them before they leave the phone.
The plan's carried out to a T. Nothing remains now but to wait for the expected call. One long day goes by and no call comes. The second day drags on and threatens to bring nothing of importance to the ears of the waiting men. Then Sunday evening at 10:15, the phone in Nick Harris's office suddenly comes to life.
Hello?
There's a man talking to the Worth house. He's speaking from a public pay station in the Anson Drugstore, 200 East 5th Street.
Thanks. Hold this wire open and get me police headquarters.
Yes, sir. Here you are, sir.
Hello? Harris speaking.
Lieutenant Cy, Harris.
Go out to 200 East 5th Street, Anson Drugstore, and make it fast. Pick up the bird in the phone booth.
Right. Keep it moving, Kelly. We got anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes to get there.
Okay,
You
Lieutenant.
boys all set when we get there? Remember, we want this bird alive.
Right you are, Lieutenant.
There's the drugstore. Next corner.
Okay, boys. Head for the phone booth and grab everybody that's phoning. There's the only phone booth in there. Come on. There's a man in there.
Goodbye, Mr. Worth. Be sure and have the money tonight.
All right, buddy. Put up your hand.
Huh?
Grab it, boys.
What's going on?
Never mind the chatter. We'll tell you all about it when we get to headquarters. Meanwhile, here's a little present for you.
Where's Mrs. Worth?
I don't know.
Oh, yes, you do, and you're going to tell us.
Come on, buddy. We want to know, and we're not wasting any more time on you. Where is he?
I tell you, I don't know.
What's your name?
Beale, Arthur Beale.
All right, Beale. Suppose you tell us all about it.
Listen, you can't make me say anything I don't know. I tell you, you're wrong about this.
All right, that's enough of that. We're doing the talking from now on. What were you doing in that telephone booth?
Telephone?
Who were you talking to?
That's none of your business, and what's more, I don't see what right you've
You were
got...
talking to Mr. Worth, weren't you?
No, I
Then
wasn't.
who were you talking to?
I don't know. How can a guy think with you asking all these questions?
You don't have to think very hard, Beale. You know where Mrs. Worth is.
No, I don't.
Come on, Beale, where is she?
I tell you, I
Beale,
don't know.
I'm asking you just once more, and if you don't tell me, it'll go hard with you. Where's Mrs. Worth?
All right. I'll tell you if you stop asking me questions.
All right. Go ahead.
She's out in a shack near Corona.
That's better. Can you show us exactly where?
I suppose so.
All right, boys. It looks like we're going to have a ride ahead of us. And, Beale, you're coming along to show us the way.
Marshalling forces Detectives Oakes, Harris, King, and Mr. Worth, with their prisoner safely handcuffed to the car, start the long trek out to the shack in Corona. Trailing behind their car come 5 others, filled with police and reporters. Out through South Los Angeles, the 6 cars speed into the long stretch of smooth road leading to Corona. At 4 a.m., the lead car cuts off the main highway onto a little cow path, and with lights out, crawls the remaining 3 miles. Suddenly, a small shack shows up only a few hundred feet away. The cars quietly slide to a stop.
Now, listen, Beale. You're going with us. When we arrive, you tell who's ever in there that you brought a friend. That's all. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay, Ed. Let's go.
Okay.
Who is it?
It's all right, George. I got a friend with me.
That's about time you got back. We'll open the door.
All right, boys, come and get him.
Cops, will you?
I don't hold you for a moment. Now, where is she, Beale? In that closet over there. Okay, Ed.
The door's nailed. We'll have to bust it open.
Come on, boys. Give us a hand with this door. Come on, break it down. That's it. That's it. That's just it.
Margaret, where are you?
Lammy. Oh, Lammy, I knew you'd come.
Margaret, thank God you're safe.
Come on, Louie. I think we'd better take a look at our prisoners outside.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
And so, through the excellent police work and cooperation from Nick Harris, Margaret Worth was returned to her husband and baby unharmed. The two men were tried and found guilty of kidnapping for the purpose of extortion. On February 2nd, 1921, Arthur and George Beale were sentenced to San Quentin for the term of from 10 years to life, and on the same day, Detective Oakes, King, and Harris caught the train for San Quentin and delivered the criminal in person to the warden.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, your police department calls upon every citizen to enlist in the war against crime. Every boy, every girl can help in the capture of lawbreakers. Join the Junior Police Department. Get your complete junior detective outfit. Your nearest Rio Grande cracked gasoline dealer is headquarters for more information. Drive in and ask how you can get absolutely free a junior police badge, fingerprint outfit, handcuffs, and many other gifts. If you, Mr. Motorist, haven't yet realized the thrill of getting police car performance from your own car, then try this extraordinary Rio Grande cracked gasoline that is selected for more police cars and emergency engines than any other brand. A tankful will give you more and speedier miles than you've been getting, and you get a valuable gift for some boy or girl at no cost to you. Your Rio Grande dealer can save you money on motor oil, too. He features Sinclair canned motor oils. Only 25 cents a quart for the same Sinclair oil your Army and Navy use it.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. The cancellation of broadcast 96 regarding a kidnapping. Suspects in this case are now in custody. That's all. Rolls and clips.
This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsley, bidding you good night